Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Gamma Ray podcast. I'm Tim with Tim and Justin.
How's it going, everybody?
What's going on?
All right, guys. And this week we're following up our previous episode more with the Sumerians.
Yeah, man, this has actually been like pretty fun to talk about, honestly.
There's a fucking ton to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Like
doing
it's
some
a lot.
research, man, and it's just, it's like, wow. The stuff on these guys is just insane.
How people have not heard of these guys blows my mind. Like, how have you not heard of them before? You know what I mean? They're pretty important in
Yeah,
the grand scheme
I
of
mean,
everything
and
else.
dude, we know all this about them, and they still have so much more they haven't even decrypted yet. You know,
Mhm.
like translated. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I get it though. I mean, it's a fucking dead language, man, for like thousands of years.
Yeah,
It's not like there's somebody that speaks it fluently where they can just take them to and be like, read these
yeah.
weird like
Well, yeah, they
hash-
don't have like a
like
Rosetta
hash marks.
like the Rosetta Stone
Yeah,
for the Egyptians.
yeah,
How they were able to
Oh,
like
yeah,
the newest
decipher.
form was on the bottom, and then they worked their way up
yeah.
Yeah.
to the oldest or however.
Well, like if you like look at those tablets, dude, it legitimately looks like just like tick marks.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like in weird, like sometimes they're
Just-
diagonal.
Yeah,
Sometimes
they're
they're
just
not.
shape. They're just either weird angles or reversed, or
So, like, how
but
do
it
you
all
supposed
looks
to figure that
pretty
out?
much the same. It all looks like almost the same word over and
Yeah.
over.
It's like a secret code. You know what I mean? That like, I mean, only the people that made it can read the fucking thing, you know? But so I mean, so like the last time we were with the Sumerians, we were talking about like how like lower class, like poor people like us could eventually, you know, damn near probably work yourself to death, but yeah, you could move up. I mean, you weren't
Yeah, they
like
weren't
stuck in that same
forbidden.
spot.
Yeah, they weren't forbidden to move.
Right. So it was a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't like a caste system or anything like that where if you were born to be a farmer, you're always going to be that,
Yeah.
you and your entire family forever. You know what I mean? Like that was going to be your station in life, but not with the Sumerians.
Yeah, which is pretty like forward thinking for such an ancient culture
Yeah.
like that. You know, people like a lot of other people, civilizations around that time were not thinking like these guys were.
No.
No, absolutely not. They were more patriarchal, monarchy,
Yeah.
like, men
don't
ran
think-
shit, kings
I-
ran shit.
I don't think anybody was thinking like these guys
No.
or even close to it.
Bro,
Yeah.
there's countries to this day,
That don't think
5,000
like
years
that.
later, that still don't think like that.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I think you would have had like I think the Greeks would have been the closest
Yeah.
civilization that had their but even then they still had that caste system going.
I mean, maybe Vikings, because women had it pretty good in the Viking culture too. I mean,
Considering for such a
they were able
brutal
to,
culture.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they were able to divorce. They were able to have, own businesses, court dispute.
Land.
Yeah, land. Like, I mean, that was a
Not to
pretty
mention
wide
they
open
were
s-
allowed to go into battle.
Yeah, as a shield maiden.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Oh,
I mean,
interesting. The goddamn Vikings. Every chance you get to squeeze something about the Vikings, and you do
yeah,
it.
man.
Every single time. All right, so like continuing in the fashion of like being able to move up and like the way that they structured their class system, I mean, or lack thereof, I guess. Let's talk about the women for a little bit, right? Because they had a pretty decent amount of, I guess, what you'd call freedom in that time.
Yeah.
And clearly not, like it is today. You know what I mean? Not anywhere near it, but I mean, comparative. Of
They weren't
course,
so far below men
right.
that they were just thought of as like objects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like floor
I mean,
mats, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like to touch on what you just said when you said comparatively. I
Yeah.
mean, comparatively, they're probably more advanced
Yeah.
for their time than
Yeah.
some societies right now.
For sure. I mean,
comparatively.
Yeah. I mean, it was really comparatively like to other cultures at that time, where it wasn't so
Yeah.
much like this,
Yeah.
and it was like it's moving forward thousands of years, and now we're kind of where we're at. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of the same ideas are around now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or specifically, in America, because that's what we have our reference to. You know what I mean? But I guess probably in
for-
England,
yeah.
shit like that. Any place that speak English, I guess you're okay.
Yeah, I think like, any basically freedom, like democracy type run
Right.
country.
Yeah,
Europe,
exactly.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
But but even then it took them thousands of years to catch up to that though, bro.
mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
Well, they were burning women to the ground, literally for
that's what I'm
hundreds of
saying. Yeah,
years,
they
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
for being witches.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah, women after the Sumerians, women had a rough go of it for
yeah,
literal
they
Yeah.
pretty did.
centuries.
mhm.
Yeah, right up until about, like 17th, 18th century. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Even then they still had it pretty rough, man. I mean,
I mean, dude,
really,
even
probably
thinking
more like the
about it,
19th
like
century.
not even that, like think about like 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to what they have now compared to what they did then,
Yeah, it's not
But
even,
hey,
it's not the same,
No.
anymore.
no.
It's not the same anymore. So like, I mean, they were allowed to like go to the marketplace was kind of a big deal. They were allowed to buy and sell goods on their own. They like didn't need like their husbands with them or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever that rule would be. And they were able to start their own business, like be like an entrepreneur, essentially. Yeah, because it was good for the community. And that's really what mattered to them the most, it seemed,
Oh
It's
yeah,
more
well,
of
I
a
mean,
community
Just that
thing.
alone, just the fact that they're able to run their own business
Yeah.
is gigantic for the time.
Yeah.
Like that was not something that would ever be thought of.
Right.
And got to keep the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
not
know
like
what
they
I
had to
mean?
do all
Like-
the work and hand it off to the husband.
Yeah, like the old man ain't coming in just snatching up every dollar they made for the day.
Well, I think this is probably where prostitution came from, because it was just a lot easier to be a prostitute than it was to like run a small business.
Yeah, to be a
You know what I
merchant.
mean? Yeah, like, it's just like, this is easier. I'm still giving the money to the guy. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
This is just a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, now I'm just
as,
not working. as
to
hard.
become priestesses at the temples, they were allowed to. They're allowed to be taught how to read and write, which is so stupid. Like, why isn't
Yeah.
everybody allowed to just, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why does that make you like, wouldn't that be good for everybody? Like, if it was good for the community to start your own business, why isn't it good for everybody if you like know how to read and write?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Because even though they were pretty progressive, women were still below men.
That's true.
Because every man
They weren't equal for sure.
every man went to school.
Right.
Every
Yeah.
boy
Yeah.
went to learn how to read and write, to learn the history of the Sumer and all that. But
Right. I mean, but
You have
like
to be
learning how to read and
wealthy.
write, like, wait, well, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it was for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
It
I
was
mean, yeah,
pretty,
especially back then.
yeah, again, it was like a pretty progressive idea that they had, which seems to be kind of the idea behind their civilization. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was ahead of its time. I think
for
like
sure.
the ideas were, and like not only were they allowed to read and write and like own their own business, but the members of the community also like trusted them to have jobs in the Sumerian government and to be a part of like the decision making process that affected everybody. And
see, right there is
Mhm.
where it's like huge
Yeah,
for women.
yeah,
Is the decision like actually being able to take part in making decisions about the city state?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
the jobs in government, you mean, dude, like even you can think of like a secretary, but they wouldn't have been a CEO. You know what I mean?
right.
That kind of deal.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they were allowed to like do, high level government jobs, and then, like other part, like essentially, like government
The
jobs
better-
for the
even,
cities and the
you know,
towns and all that.
The more
They were allowed
informed
to have those positions, and nobody
you are,
thought anything of it.
I don't know, I guess you would call it your townsfolk would
Mhm.
be,
Yeah,
and the more businesses they own, it's just like anywhere, man. Almost like, it's almost kind of like capitalism where like the better the businesses do and the more informed they are, the better off
everybody
the
is.
city is.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like it make perfect sense that, bring everybody up.
Yeah,
And it's
Well,
like,
yeah.
that's
it's
why
almost
they
like an unstoppable society at that point.
yeah. I mean, that's why that's one of the reasons why they lasted so long, because they put a huge emphasis on like education.
They would have lasted longer without the infighting, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they had banded together, they might,
well, I mean, it's
end up
like
still be heard
that
at the very
still
least.
happens now. Look at like dickheads on Reddit. You know what I mean? It's like a bunch of smart people. So some of those folks are pretty smart, man. but they just
Yep.
go on there to blast other people for not being quite as smart as they are,
Yeah.
and they're essentially infighting because it's probably
Yeah.
mostly Americans. that are
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
kinda like what's-
most likely.
Kind of like the sad state of our country right now with all the infighting. If we just realize it's the government that's against us all,
Yeah, it wasn't like that though for these guys.
the better off we would be. But but the power goes to the people, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was almost like these guys they gave them almost, yeah, they had a king, but they almost gave them that power to the people.
yeah, it pretty much was that.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Well, see, that's like what last episode we were talking about, where even the king had to pay
for his own
His
shit.
way.
for
Yeah,
his own stuff.
yeah,
He wasn't above anybody else,
right.
Just because he was king.
economically speaking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I
He-
think
he-
he was
he ended
probably
up-
just paying them with their own money.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
probably,
he
but
still
the-
was paying it.
Yeah, but either way, it was
but
still
he
going
was
out.
still like
Yeah,
he wasn't holding on to the money.
right,
He was putting it back into their economy.
right.
It kind of goes like
It
our
is their
safety leaders,
taxes,
the way they pay for stuff is with our money.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for
You know
sure.
what I mean? But I do know, for the men back then, though, bro, like, when them boys were in school, man, I seen some shit, bro. Like if you was slacking in your studies, like you got disciplined by the teacher, by like the dean, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
or whatever they call them, you know what I mean? By like the headmaster or
Then
whatever.
you got
like,
home, you got your ass whooped by your dad.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like,
Your
yeah, man,
mom.
like they didn't, they didn't put up with
Your smarter younger brothers
mediocrity
making
there,
fun of
man. You know what I mean? When it came to the men getting educated.
He's got a thicker
Yeah.
beard and everything.
you. Yeah.
So like in a Sumerian theology though, there are like thousands of deities, right? But
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of them are goddesses. You know what I mean? So they're women figures. And in fact, like a lot of the towns, they all had like a spiritual center. That's what the
Yeah.
ziggurat was, right?
Yeah, they all did.
Right, but a lot of the towns and villages actually designated a goddess as their patron. Like everybody was
Yeah, it's the
all
same
about
way
it.
how like the Spartans had Ares
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like they all had their own god that looked over their town.
right, exactly. And not only that, man, but in the year, it was like 2500 BC, somewhere like that, BCE. I don't know before Common Era. That's right. They changed it, didn't they? Isn't that what that means?
It used to be before Christ, and then then
Is that
they
true?
changed it to-
Is that true though? Was it before Christ? Is that really what it meant, or is that just what everybody thinks it meant?
I'm pretty sure that's what it meant because it was AD was after death.
No, it was Americana Vespucci or
I don't
something
think
like
so.
that. I'm telling you, that's what it was.
I think you're lying.
It was some fucking Guido thing.
Look it up.
I don't
Somebody
care
Google
enough.
that shit. 'cause I'm-
Honestly, I don't care.
No.
enough to find
I
out.
want everybody to know that I'm right and that you're an
Fine,
idiot.
fine, fine.
I want everybody to know that. All right. So in the year 2500, though, the Sumerians had a woman who was quote unquote king. I don't think they used the term like queen. You know what I mean? Back then, I just think they called whoever was in charge the king. You know what I mean? And she was named Kababa. Right. And like so significant was Kababa like taking the throne over a man that it stuck in people, and she actually can be found in the king's list, right? That the Sumerians made, where it's like the chronological order of all the rulers,
Yeah.
they didn't exclude anybody, even her. And she's right in there with like Gilgamesh. You know what I mean? It's like a big fucking deal.
I told you it was before Christ. It was what BC meant.
You're a fucking yeah. Oh, I
Google
wasn't
does not
arguing
lie.
that. I was arguing the AD.
AD was a Anno Domini.
See, I
or
fucking
the
told
ye-
you.
in the year of our Lord.
Yeah, see? Bam. Fucker. Man.
My
Hey,
Being-
God.
yeah,
Being technically correct is the best kind of correct.
no,
Yes, it is.
Man, I'm still feeling it. Shit, right to the tips of my toes, man.
Being technically correct.
Over him,
Yeah.
it's just better. I don't know why. It's just a better feeling.
now, dude, these guys are. And even the fact that she got put on the king's list
Yeah.
is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
She must she must have done a good job. She must have been a badass if they, you know what I mean? thought that she
Yeah.
deserves a spot on that list, which she does, obviously.
Yep. She had a full beard too.
Yeah, for sure. She had a full beard.
Yeah, I don't think they were really big into shaving back then.
No,
Oh God.
Could you imagine?
Yikes.
walking around looking like a Wookiee all day.
Yeah.
Whoopi Goldberg in a headlock. Yeah. Oh God.
It's like she's stacked, but boy, you can weave that leg hair.
Oh, all right. God, please, somebody move on. I can't take it
All
anymore.
right. Yeah, well, like with their, because like we said, we're moving on from their social standings right now.
Right.
The Sumerians actually had a very complex and extensive view of the law. So it wasn't just like archaic nonsense. They had a legit like written rules.
Yeah, like not that just archaic bullshit, like eye for an eye bullshit.
No, it was more
No,
like
which-
RoboCop.
Which actually
a
the
complex and extensive view of the law.
eye for an eye is that Hammurabi code.
Yeah.
He got that from the Sumerians. Like he just
okay.
he kind of upped the ante
Yeah.
with that.
I would say.
Because they had a code like that, but that's actually where he got it from, was from these guys. He just made it.
Yeah, I
a lot
mean
more
they're
brutal.
like the OGs, man.
Yeah,
Everybody's gonna bite off their shit.
yeah, but he definitely pulled it straight from these guys.
Mm.
Because their earliest version was known as the Code of Urukagina.
Yeah.
I believe, I'm sure I'm butchering that.
You butcher
And
everything.
it was
Come on.
actually
And you let us know
true.
about it every time.
I know. I want people to know I'm not, I'm not a expert at this. I did not look up a pronunciation guide for anything. And it's thought to have been conceived in the 24th century. Is right around the time for these guys.
Right.
So that-
BCE.
Yeah,
Before Christ existed.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
that's-
Got it,
So
all
you're
right.
talking 2,400 years
Okay.
Yep.
before Christ.
and this is
Yeah.
and it showed that the kings of the Sumerians thought of themselves as like father figures to their people
Now
instead of
I seem to
ruling over
remember that being like what the emperor from Gladiator said. And that didn't go so good.
No. No, it didn't.
For
for a
Joaquin,
second there. I thought you were going.
Joaquin Phoenix or whatever. Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix. It didn't go so good for him.
Dude, as soon as you said emperor, my mind went straight to Star Wars.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like Shao Kahn
Palpatine.
or something.
No, I was about to be like, what the hell did Sidious say that sounded anything like I'm a father figure?
Right.
Like, I might have to go back and watch those movies again real quick.
Well, I mean, being a father figure to your people and your citizens smells an awful lot like communism.
Oh man, you gonna ruin
Yeah,
this
but
for me?
No, I'm just saying all for one for all. You know what I mean?
Well, no,
so
in
in
terms of-
in that respect, in the Three Musketeers were fucking communists, and I fucking refuse to believe that when I go to the local store and I get myself a Three Musketeers bar, I'm I'm like contributing to the communist agenda.
That's a good point.
Well, no, what he wanted the kings wanted their citizens to think that the king, their government, and all the people in their city state
Mhm.
as one large like family unit.
And I get that. Everybody working for the greater good.
Right.
Everybody.
Yeah, so
Everybody
it
look
was more
out
of
for
like
everyone
if
else,
you
yeah.
attacked
Yeah.
your neighbor, you were attacking your brother,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes those two things are the same thing.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Okay.
Probably
But,
more often than you would like.
Back then, I think probably a lot more than they didn't really look to leave a whole lot. I'm sure.
No.
It's like, where's the nearest city? Oh, it's 8 days in the desert, straight that way.
Yeah. 8 days in a fucking 3-week boat ride.
Yeah.
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 You'll find the next place that has more than 20 people at.
We'll see you at the holidays.
Well, he wanted their kings wanted their people to think of themselves as family, right?
Right.
And
But he was the daddy.
Of course. Yeah.
Make no
yeah,
mistake.
he's Daddy Gilgamesh over here.
Yeah.
His rules were similar to the rules of a home. So it'd be nothing more than what your father would put on you or your mother would put on you.
Yeah, like you'd be
How to act
grounded.
while yeah. Well, in this case, far worse than being grounded. At least some of these punishments were.
Right.
But because most of them, most of the punishments for their crimes, besides of course capital punishments, came in the form of fines.
Mm-hmm.
A large amount of the laws, unfortunately, have been lost to time. But
I bet you it's probably a bunch more in those 500,000 or however long it, like a million things that they found that they haven't even looked at yet.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, dude, just think about if just even just a rough guesstimation. Say they, decoded out of the 500,000, even 100,000 of them.
Yeah.
Imagine the kind of stuff we'd be finding out about them.
It's a fucking lot, though.
I mean, because they do say, man,
it's like reading 100. That's like reading 100,000 page book of a language you don't understand.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, that's why they're not doing it. It's not because they can't. It's a lot of fucking work. You know what I mean? I think that's really what it comes down to is laziness. Like scientist laziness.
Well, then plus too, man, the problem is that you make one mistake. What happens if you're 50,000 tablets in and you realize
you got to start
these
all
little
over?
etchings meant a completely different word and you have to go back to the beginning and start over?
I'd retire. I would do. I just shoot myself.
else.
Yeah, just be like, yo, fuck all that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go work at McDonald's now, man. I'm
well,
done
man,
with this.
fuck.
Is that one of those?
My whole life
Yeah.
was dedicated to this.
Yeah, I just wasted my entire one shot at living doing this and got it wrong. Right.
Got one, yeah, and then it threw off every other story after that.
Yeah.
You're like, this shit ain't making sense.
They didn't have beards at all.
Yeah.
They didn't have beards.
This is saying he walked his dog to the moon. Like, that's not making sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, is that metaphorical or is that like?
Well, no, dude, like enough of their writings have survived to gain like a decent understanding
Right.
of what the laws, covered, because it covered both criminal and civil issues.
Got it.
And these laws specifically point out some of the capital offenses of the time, which some of these are still, enforced to this day.
Right.
Crimes such as robbery, adultery, albeit if only performed by a woman, of course,
Of course.
but not to exclude the men. Like there was a whole, they had their own version, their own law for adultery, in that taking the virginity of another man's virgin wife was a very large crime.
But I'm kind of in it. I'm kind of down with that.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is to find?
Yeah.
Like how long it took that poor man to
Especially
find
back
that
then.
one girl.
I mean, yeah, it's like, dude, there's only fucking 12 women in the entire fucking village. And you've already slept with 11 of them.
Yeah.
It's like, now you had to go after my wife. Like, I'd have a fucking problem with that too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was not,
Like,
they
yeah,
didn't,
bro.
yeah, they took that pretty seriously. And they hated it.
They should still take that really seriously. Fucked up.
But that, dude, think of that. Doing that was a capital offense.
Yeah.
That
That's
wasn't
fucking
like
crazy.
jail time. Dude, that's like, all right, you're dead. Like,
Yeah.
That's how hard they went with that.
Mm.
And
The
but
guy was kind of an asshole. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
yeah, we don't
like-
really need him.
he's not going to be missed, I don't think, by anybody.
Of
You know,
course, murder was their worst
Well, of course.
of all
Oh,
offenses.
well, it's got to
Yeah, I
be.
mean, I think that's
Yeah.
any, culture, basically, really.
You know what I don't notice in those rules? Like cannibalism. Like they seem to, I mean, they don't even mention it.
Yeah, nobody ever does. Nobody says don't eat people.
No, cannibal. No one ever thinks.
Is that like
about
an
cannibalism, so
like an
they have to
unwritten
go like
rule? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I'm not aware of.
that's like off the cuff stuff they have to come up with.
Yeah. They're like, well,
hold on.
we never
I need to
thought
think about
another person would eat another person.
So we never thought we'd have to
So-
actually write that into the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
The
I
fuck,
think that
man.
would be a given.
Give me like at least an hour to think on this.
I gotta
Yeah.
deliberate. 'Cause holy shit.
Let me get with a couple people. I'll get back to you. End of work day tomorrow. How about that?
Yeah. It's like, well, times are looking a little lean right now.
Just like your meat.
And dude, like, I don't know. Like the one, I never really got this law, and it's with other cultures as well, like the adultery thing. It's always been such a, you know, what I mean, and it should be looked down upon. It should be
Right.
if you're married.
Right.
But I mean, it's always like up there with like rape and murder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
And
not
it's like,
as
really,
serious.
dude, all you're doing is just kind of cheating on your spouse. I mean, is it a bad thing? Sure it is. But I mean, to be up there with rape and murder,
Yeah.
Well, I think depending on the culture, but
Boy, I'd have
Like-
a lot of ex-dead girlfriends if that was still true. You know?
but no, like if you think about the Christians with adultery,
yeah,
that was
You like go to hell for
marriage was
eternity.
like God approved of it.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
to go outside of that would go in the face of God,
Right.
which could very well be the case even with these guys.
Yeah,
Their,
true.
their goddess of love sanctioned the marriage.
So they
now
took it
you-
literal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, back then, dude, like they took the gods literal, like
Everything.
deadly
literal.
serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they put the god was in charge of this, if you fucked around with it, you pissed off that god, and everybody was mad at you for it because the gods could bring destruction to your culture.
Yeah.
Now you see,
Misfortune,
like
you
you
know.
would think everybody would every culture would worship the god of forgiveness.
I don't think any religion
Yeah.
has that.
Exactly, bro. You know what I mean? You'd be like,
Yeah.
who's your god? My god's the god of forgiveness, bro. No matter what I do.
Well, that's because if the God ever showed up, it'd just be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
forgive you.
Sorry.
All right. I forgive you.
Just
No,
next time.
nobody had that. Nobody had that.
Wait a minute. Aren't you the cannibal? I'm sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
All
sorry.
right.
yeah.
Fine.
All right. You're
I
good.
kind of have no choice. You're
Yeah,
rocking the hard place.
yeah, yeah, I mean, you are one of my disciples.
But the Sumerian laws were created with an almost like conditional logic structure, right?
Right.
So it's like a if this then that cadence.
Right.
Okay, so
Well,
yeah, if you did this, this is going to be the consequence.
Like for example, dude, like if it was a man to a man, this is one of their laws
Right.
with a geshpu instrument, and if his nose was cut off, then that man shall pay 2/3 of silver mina, which is current. A mina was one of their currencies.
Right.
And a mina was a unit of measurement in the Sumerian culture, and it was around 60 shekels, which I didn't. I mean,
Yeah.
what was it? Dude, didn't like last time you were surprised like a shekel was a real thing?
It is. Yeah, it is. a
Me?
real thing.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, I was about to ask if it was real because
Yeah, it was.
Clearly, I
maybe,
wasn't-
maybe we were.
clearly when
wasn't
I'm
last
proven wrong,
thing.
I don't pay attention.
No, clearly
So,
not.
I don't.
You're like,
remember.
wait, but shekels are real? I was like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
But a shekel,
It's like a hilarious name for money.
it was
is.
calculated to be
I love it.
around 1.25 pounds of silver.
Okay. All right. It's
So like you cut off a man's nose,
like $100.
here's a pound and a quarter of silver.
Yeah, it's like 125
His
bucks.
wife, you go to the gallows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think you know what? Go ahead and sleep with my wife.
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
not
want
gonna
my
get
nose
another
cut
chick
off.
without a nose.
Exactly.
yeah, right.
It's gonna be real hard to find another virgin wife
Yeah,
with no nose.
First of all, just on its own, with a full nose,
Yeah, it's
let
hard
alone
as
half
hell.
a nose, walking around like Skeletor with a fucking goatee. You know what I mean? You're not gonna make it, dude.
yeah,
Running around looking like a Red Skull.
Yeah.
yeah, like Fred Skull. Like you like a leper. You know?
just like you. No matter what, you and your douchebag fucking jockstrap fucking beard,
Mhm.
bro, you ain't got a nose.
Nah.
You're terrifying.
Yeah.
You will terrify our children.
Every time she asks you if she smells good, she's gonna know you're
After.
lying.
The Sumerian Empire was invaded and conquered by the Babylonians and the Amorites in the beginning of the second millennium BCE. The Sumerian culture, man, was starting to be overwritten by, like anywhere else, man, that kind of has that kind of influx of, conquerors and war, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That basically, they're invading cultures, basically their culture basically came like it kind of ceased to exist, or at least completely, or is any really, any real political force.
So like they didn't have like nothing they did like carried any weight behind it anymore.
Nah, because I think
And-
basically, man, they probably got conquered by so many different people at that
They
time,
were
by
eventually
that point.
assimilated to like
Yeah.
like
It
a
was
bunch of
kinda-
different versions of
It was kind of like how the Romans fell.
Yeah.
They had so many different
Cultures.
cultures coming after them from all sides.
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, it's like you're bound sooner or later, you know what I mean, with enough influx. That,
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it was
also
done.
too you can only get so big before your resources are thin the fuck way out.
Yeah.
You know, like you can only rule so much.
Yeah. I mean, but after a significant time passed, I mean, I guess like with all ancient cultures, man,
Yeah.
all knowledge of the Sumerian history and technology and even the language and even the name Sumerian will be lost to the sands of time.
Is that like a Middle East joke? Because if it is, it's a gem. Yeah. I
I
love
get
it.
no
No,
pun
which is like,
intended, I
it
guess.
it reminds
just a
me of,
happy
like-
accident.
It reminds me of like Prince of Persia or something. I love it.
Yeah.
I think
I
it
was
was
thinking
called the Sands
Aladdin.
of Time. Like I think it was.
It was Princess Persia, Sands of Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Fucking
was.
nailed it.
Oh, there you go.
Thanks, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Well, see, the problem is, they're like, even though they were lost to time,
Darko.
their
Mm.
accomplishments certainly weren't.
Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, I mean,
no,
but
no, that
they-
persisted. I mean, yeah, you're not gonna like take
Yeah.
better ideas and not run with them.
yeah, we're trying to make him,
So, if
or like you
nothing
said,
else,
run with them, making yours and improve upon them, I guess.
Right.
I mean, but that wasn't, but I mean, but that was until the 19th century, man. So you're talking
Like
what,
4,000 years.
4,000 years, man.
Yeah. It was in that ballpark, 3,000, 4,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of
Yeah.
years.
I mean, think about all the stuff that got covered, ruined, destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause,
Rebuilt.
yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
'cause as well as anybody, like when these invading armies come, man, like
they took everything.
they'll destroy everything to try to erase your complete history, like
Yeah.
papers and documents, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's a brutal way to do shit, man.
Yeah, it's like fuck you. We don't know how to read, so fuck you. We're gonna burn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
We're
neither
gonna erase you from history.
anymore. Yeah, it's
Like,
like
wow.
fucking. You know what I mean?
It's really mean.
But around the 19th century, man, their civilization was rediscovered in Iraq, buried
Hmm.
amongst the desert.
Yeah.
And basically, like anything else over there in the desert, fucking Iraq. Who the fuck would want to live there? God, who
It
would
wasn't
wanna
always
live-
a desert.
No, you're
No.
right. No, it really wasn't always a desert. So I mean, I guess we're talking what 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. So who knows what it looked like then?
Right.
But I did watch a thing about ancient Sumeria, Mesopotamia, where what the hell did they call it? It was like the fertile lot or whatever, but
Mhm.
along the Mediterranean and really a good ways in was a really lot of truly fertile land.
Well, that was like the Tigris and Euphrates and all that shit was right around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and these guys were known for their their agricultural and like
Oh, yeah.
irrigation, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Preparing for
So-
floods and stuff.
Yeah. And like these guys have their shit together, man.
Yeah.
But it was basically this always kills me, basically it was rediscovered, it was found,
Right.
basically by a British and a French archaeologist while they were actually looking for the remains of the ancient Assyrians.
So they found it by accident.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
They were looking for one thing.
Look what we found on purpose.
Yeah.
Well,
They were looking for one thing. And then
Like,
all of a
here's
sudden
the-
they're like, oh, fuck.
But here's
Of
the
course,
thing,
this
dude.
is what we were looking for.
While they're looking for the Assyrians, they didn't even know the Sumerians existed.
Yeah, they did a pretty
Like-
good job of wiping them fucking
Yeah.
out of history, man.
Nobody knew these guys ever existed.
Yeah.
So it was pretty lucky that these guys went looking for the Assyrians.
Right.
Well, I mean, it was like you said, man, and it is lucky that they did find them because, like this could have been a chapter in human history that was like such a big deal.
Yeah.
Could have just been lost once again to the sands of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it could have just got buried
Yep.
and just, you know what I mean? And then that's a part of our, I mean, I'm sure there's thousands and tens of thousands of years of our history that was just lost for that same exact reason.
Atlantis
Yeah. To name
comes to
one.
mind.
Yeah.
Lemuria.
I mean,
I'll
but
save that
basically,
for
man, it was
later.
like the dudes, these guys were scholars, and like, back in, in the 1900s, man, like, these.
I
I guess-
imagine they all dressed like people did, like in like Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah. Even in the fucking desert.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they're still wearing a fucking tie. Like
they're still
bow tie.
British and they're
Three-piece
still
suits.
proper.
Yeah,
Big
fucking
three-piece
tweed,
suits.
fucking tweed suit in the middle of fucking Iraq in August.
Goddamn monocle.
Yeah. And look what we found.
We
Well, it
found
was like-
something of huge cultural significance. But first, tea time.
Yes.
Yeah. Tea time. It's 137 degrees outside in the
Tea.
shade.
Tea and strumpets.
Yeah. I might be down with some tea and strumpets. But it was like scholars, man. Like this dude, Henry Rawlson, Julius Opert, Paul Hout, and Edward Rawlson.
And don't forget Dr. Henry Jones Jr. He was there. Rocking the leather.
Yeah, he was. With his bullwhip and his fedora.
You know what just popped in
And
my
his
mind?
satchel.
Like every time that
Yeah,
I
his
see
man purse.
like every
The
single
satchel.
time that I see that dude, what's his name? Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Yeah.
He is dressed like Indiana fucking Jones.
Dude, he kind of is like
There's no
like-
kind of.
like-
He is.
Like when
He's
Indy's
full
a
khaki.
professor.
He's full khaki, and he's got
Yeah.
a satchel.
Yep. Yeah, when he's out on his little excursions,
Yeah,
and when
he's
he's not,
dressed just like Indiana Jones.
and when he's not, he dresses just like when Indy dresses as a professor.
Yeah, love it.
So I never caught that.
I don't know, man. He was pretty fly.
So I guess now instead of aliens, it's Indy done it. Ask Indy.
Sumerians.
Yeah, it was the Sumerians. But I mean, basically, man, like they were the leading researchers. And I think they were kind of like some of the first ones to try to attempt deciphering the Sumerian language in
Right.
the cuneiform,
Right.
which, dude,
Had
That's a
gotta
task.
been
That's a task, dude.
fucking imagine trying, like we were saying earlier, imagine trying
Monumental.
to start this from scratch.
Yeah.
That's insanity, man.
Only the British
Yeah. You're
like
like,
figured
fuck
it
it.
out.
would
I'm
have
gonna
had
go
the
to this fucking
audacity to even try.
desert, find this dead language and spend the rest of my life trying to decipher it.
Mm-hmm.
But
But
basically,
just
this,
think
Go ahead.
about how hard that would have been.
Yeah.
Because you would have had to start at the earliest, like I guess would be the latest form
Yeah.
of communication in the area.
Yeah.
well, I
and
do
then
remember seeing a thing where they
slowly
say,
go back in time
well, I remember they're saying like,
until you could figure out what the hell these things are saying.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Probably took years to even figure out.
Well, I know they had to go back to like 2 or 3 different dead languages, but we're still either being spoken or, you know what I mean, to kind of start breaking it down.
Dude, let's
You know
be
what I
honest.
mean?
Like
Of
there's
that
some
region.
there's some English words I look at and it's like I'm reading Sumerian. Because like I might as well be. Because I
Yeah.
have no fucking idea what it means. I'm like, what the fuck is that? What
I mean,
is
but
that word?
basically, man, this is where they got lucky, where we're lucky because this basically gave, historians of the time their first glimpse into this lost literature and of early Mesopotamia,
Right.
which I'm sure probably changed, at least some of the history book.
It's
Right.
it changed the standing history of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they thought it was, it sent it back a long ways.
And if you want to believe some of it, man, I've also seen and read some things about this where like they were saying like some of them ziggurats were up before the Sumerians.
Well, yeah, it's
Like,
like
I mean,
aliens
it's
have been here
theory.
for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Don't you know? It was
Yeah.
reptilians.
Duh.
You idiot.
But basically, man, check this out, dude. Since this initial find, archaeologists have recovered. I mean, like, your average stuff, like the pottery, art, sculptures. But then they found somewhere in the neighborhood of like 500,000 clay tablets,
Yeah, we were talking
Which-
about that earlier.
Yeah.
which most have yet been translated.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah, so fuck you, British people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fucking
Get
slacking.
better. All right.
Get on point
Americans
here.
would have had all of these done by now.
Yeah, by now.
In 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And would have claimed it all as our own.
Yeah.
So get on that shit, will you? But dude, I will say this about them. Have you ever seen some of that Sumerian art, man? Like them sculptures?
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Bro, them guys were fucking amazing. Like their skill level is beyond reproach when it comes to them fucking statues,
see,
man.
You know what I think a lot of people tend to forget about ancient people
What?
was that even though Samaria was different in the chance that your father was a stonemason, you didn't have to be a stonemason, right? But I think a lot of people tend to forget that's how it was
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And your father learns how to, your great grandfather started chiseling rock into statues. He taught his son, he taught his, down the generations.
But see, I think,
dude, these people were incredibly good at what they did.
Yeah.
well, yeah, but it was like you were saying, like, with the older cultures and some of the other, cultures where, if you're a mill worker, you're always going to, your family's a mill worker. If
Yeah.
you're a farmer, you're a farmer.
Oh,
But,
God. Does this mean my sons are going to be podcasters? Just
Hopefully successful ones.
God, no. Yeah. We can only hope for better for our kids. They do better than we do.
But I mean, like, I think to reach the skill level like you were talking about, it would be something that would have to be generationally handed down.
Yeah. it
Yeah.
would be.
Even though you didn't have to be a
Master,
sculptor,
apprentice, that kind of shit.
you're gonna learn
Yeah.
it, man. Just
Yeah.
being around it. your
Yeah,
whole
like
life.
you growing up with your dad, you handed him the chisels and whatnot.
Yeah.
You're eventually
You know
going
what
to
I
start
mean?
picking up on it.
Yeah, and he's gonna teach you little tricks of the trade. You know what I mean? So then,
I
you
don't
know,
know,
I think
when
a
you're
lot of
going out to
people-
try to make money,
Not
why not
everybody's
be
a
a
Da
sculptor?
Vinci. You know what I mean? Like some people
No.
aren't very good artists.
Yeah.
No, but then like, it's just a lot of people will be like, "Oh no, there's no way human hands made this." Yeah, dude, but you have 2,000 years of the same people carving the same kind of rock.
You see, that's
You're
where
gonna have eventually you're gonna get people who are fantastic at it.
yeah, they're fucking master crafters.
Yeah,
I mean,
like people
and I
tend
agree
to
with you.
forget that
Wait.
humans do have the capability of doing like
Oh,
incredible
fuck
things.
you. Fuck
We
you.
do.
Fuck you.
I agree with
Fuck
you
you
on that,
both.
man. Sometimes I don't think we give.
All
our
that is
ancestors
because
enough
it's flying
credit.
in the face.
I think we give them too much
theory
credit.
of aliens.
God damn it. I
Aliens
think we
did
give them
everything.
too much credit.
Sometimes I don't think we give them enough. No, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying, we might not have had a little intervention here and there.
Yeah.
Now, we all know aliens don't exist. All right, let's just
Oh,
get that out
mother.
there.
But I think that we were clever enough. We could have pulled some of this off.
Yeah, easily.
You mean like destroying civilizations and wiping them out of the history books for thousands of years?
Oh,
We're pretty good at that.
dude. No,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't need to work on that. We got that fucking locked.
We're master craftsmen, as you say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's our craft.
Yeah.
yeah.
Destroying
Destroying
entire
Annihilation.
Yeah,
civilizations.
it's just complete and utter annihilation of
Yeah.
history. But I mean, there was also land that was also referenced in it was in the Bible as the land of Shinar. But until the discovery of Sumer, this was only thought to have been allegorical and never actually existed.
Fair enough. Like,
So they were
Sumer was
referring
actually-
to it
yeah.
in the Bible, but they didn't remember the name or something. Instead of saying Sumer,
hey, at least
said
they started
Shinar.
with an S. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
S and
Yeah, but
ended in
Shinar
R.
sounds like it's filled with like orcs and like elves.
Yeah, that's a that's a
Like
D&D
elf
campaign. Is
archers.
what that is.
You know what I mean? Like that's what that sounds like. You know what I mean?
He's a ninja, he's a ninja.
Yeah.
He's a ninja clan, the Shinar ninja clan.
Yeah, it kind of does sound like a roving group of ninjas. Whatever it is, Peter Jackson's gonna go and film there and make a movie.
But see,
That's
dude,
guaranteed.
like But here's a good point to what you were saying. You know what I mean? Like when you mentioned Atlantis, bro, like this is just another city that, was supposedly fable, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that turned out another thing that turned out to be true.
Yeah. I mean, think about like when they wrote the Bible.
Yeah.
If the name Sumer or whatever it was in that language wasn't even remembered, it wasn't even that long compared
Not
to
really.
now.
I mean, considering in the
Wasn't that
grand
long of
scheme
a
of it,
period of
only a
time.
couple thousand years.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
So-
for it
Yeah.
to be like completely
It
forgotten.
might have been passed down or orally
Yeah.
throughout the generations.
Like
The
probably with
great,
the
the great
tribal.
Sumer civilization that
Right.
eventually, after the telephone game, it changed into Shinar.
Right.
And like you were said, probably orally through like, the tribal clans, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Mm.
because it's not like the people of Sumeria were all killed off when they were taken.
No, they were
over.
just assimilated.
Yeah, they're yeah, exactly. They at least their descendants would have still been passing down the stories.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like paganism, what I mean, where, Samhain became Halloween, winter solstice became Christmas. You know what I mean? It kind of like their
Yeah.
original beliefs and, in their way of life just kind of assimilated with other cultures.
Right.
Yeah,
So there was a dominant theory.
That's gonna
or
happen no
dominant-
matter what.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
gonna happen.
Yeah, there's no way around it.
no, but going back backwards slightly, talk about the Sumerian, like the pantheon of their gods.
Right.
It was like we've been saying, we've said it's like it was numerous to say the least. Somewhere like past 3,000 gods.
Well, that's what those other 500,000 clay tablets are. Is just each one of their gods.
and
like
a
their
quick
bio.
yeah, exactly, a quick
Yeah.
bio, who they are, area of
Yeah.
influence.
Damn,
Yeah.
yeah, like their damage points, hit points.
Yeah, yeah,
You have to like tap their mana or whatever. What am I saying that right?
yeah. You are.
I am saying that right.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm gonna tap 3 red mana. The summon the summon on.
Ancient magic
Lord of the
cards.
Heavens.
Yeah. But I'm going to summon the god of waterfalls with the
Yeah.
god of the oceans.
Yeah.
Your fire
Well,
attack has no power on me.
Gilgamesh's mask. All that kind of shit. Yeah. You know how much that tablet's worth now? Wish I'd have held on to that.
Yeah, dude. Damn, man, I had like 4 of them too.
But they weighed fucking 30 pounds a piece. I mean, it was
I
hard
had
to
get
move
rid
them
of
all
them,
the
dude.
time.
Yeah, I'll be like, we're getting older. I threw them back 3 times.
Yeah, just loading these into the car.
I got these fragile bones. I gotta
But
bubble wrap them.
the core of their gods, though, was surrounded by like specific figures, though.
Okay.
They'll get back kind of
Like the main ones, right? So they
Yeah.
have like main big guy gods.
Yeah, kind of like with the Greeks. They had the Zeus,
Like
Poseidon,
Zeus.
Hades, Ares,
Right.
Hera.
But then they had all their little minor gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the core who were known to do the most.
Yeah.
And then these fringe ones.
The largest, like I think, like the things largest relatable to their everyday lives.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure.
Yeah.
And like I already said his name, but An, who is the Lord of the Heavens, right?
Right.
He's considered to be the supreme deity.
Well, he's,
So he's like a Christian god, basically.
he's like the
No,
skies. He's like the skies and like
Oh, he's
everything
just
lives
the-
under
he's like
him,
Ra.
essentially.
He's like
Yeah.
Ra from Egypt.
from
He's
E-
like
yeah, from Egypt.
Zeus and stuff, Odin
Right.
and all that.
Yeah.
And then there was Enki, who was the water god. We had talked about him last episode.
We did.
actually.
Yeah.
He's known as the friend of the human race.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, he
There's
was always
always
given
one.
credit
He was credited for like something. What was
creating
he?
humans.
Yeah. Creating, yeah.
And
Oh, that
thus
was nice
he
of him.
became our
I told you he was a
protector.
cool dude.
Yeah,
So naturally, he would be our protector.
Yeah.
yeah. He was the one who made the concept of kings and rulers and all that kind of stuff.
Well, everybody's, nobody, they're not all winners.
No,
not
not
every
every
idea.
one of your ideas is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be
Gonna
a
take
home
off,
run,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
Well, interesting side note to Enki, that's going to actually a little precursor for our next episode. Enki is considered to be an extraterrestrial, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, part of the
Wink, wink.
I don't. Yeah,
any
What?
reason to put in aliens?
yeah.
Because everything involves them.
Part
Ghosts,
of the Anunnaki.
goddamn
Yeah.
Bigfoot. You know who really
Chupacabra?
committed? You know who really
the
committed?
Chupacabra was an
You
alien.
really,
He
you
was
really
part
know
of the
who
Anunnaki.
committed? Yeah, you know who committed the not the Amy DeVille was the Velisca axe murders.
Oh.
Click clock. Whatever his name. What was his name?
Click clacks.
Click clacks. It was him.
But you know, the Vikings also had.
Yeah. What's that? More credit than they deserve.
But we had,
If you like,
know,
if you're really into Vikings and you do not have like a Nordic lineage, you're an asshole.
Oh, okay. I guess. Yeah, that was
what
such
about
a dick.
what
that was
about
such
if
a
you're
dick
really
move.
into Japanese culture and anime?
Those are called weebs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm just wanting to
It's
know
not-
from my
it's
wife
not
is all, you
porn,
know.
It's
Yeah.
anime.
yeah. Oh, that's hentai.
Hentai,
Yeah.
get it?
Yeah, it's
Get it
not
right.
porn, it's hentai.
It's artistic and it's
Yeah.
filled with tentacles.
I gotta say, you know, unless you're fucking 7'10" and full of hair, then you must be an asshole
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
with a size 32 foot.
If you are into Vikings and you are in fact Irish, you're an idiot. God bless you.
So
Bless
you
your
should
heart.
believe in it.
Bless your
So-
heart.
Unless you're
To be
intended with
fair,
blue
the
eyes and you
Vikings
believe in
did go
leopard.
to Ireland. You know,
It's why I'm so into aliens, because I am in fact
He-
from the moon
he was probed as a child.
repeatedly.
Yeah.
Repeatedly probed.
My
Is it
uncle
pro- like,
Click
can you-
Clacks.
Can you probe the Willem?
Oh yeah, you can probe the will. Yeah.
You know, he's at the point now where they pull up and he's just like, no, I know the drill, bro.
What was
Yeah,
that thing? What was that thing? From,
Deeper, deeper.
Beer Fest. He's like, I'm shitting pancakes, man.
It's like, dude, this is the fourth probe. I don't think you're getting deep enough.
No.
Like,
Yeah,
what the
no,
fuck
yeah.
exactly are you looking for?
Whatever it is.
Yeah, bring over
A
that.
bigger one.
Yeah, the Palladian anal decimator. Bring that over. Why don't you strap that on, you fucking pussy? What were we talking about? Oh yeah.
I think we were talking about the Sumerians.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the gods.
Speaking
All right,
of
so I just got done. I
probing.
just got done talking about Enki.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Now, and Leo is
Hanky,
supposed to
hanky.
be, and Leo's supposed to
Hanky
be
panky, yeah.
Enki's brother.
All right.
Let me,
He was-
let me get some of that hanky panky. Man.
Get some of that hanky, hanky.
The hanky panky. That's what the
Come
aliens.
on,
are
girl,
giving
give me
you.
some of that hanky, hanky.
Yeah, the hanky panky, man.
Oh god.
It's the Sumerian skeet skeet. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. We'll try to pop some of the hanky on you. Oh God, I hope my
But-
mother's not listening to this.
I know.
100%, she will be.
be.
Whether or not she makes it through to this part.
She's my biggest fan.
But like I was saying, dude, and Lil was supposed.
Happy birthday, Mom. It was just her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
I know.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to say it again, but
Yeah,
Enlil
you
was
pro-
the god of the atmosphere and that control. Yeah, he controlled the wind, the air, and the storms.
so he's like the
Thor.
Bill Gates of Sumerians.
Yeah,
In the atmosphere.
He's the heart machine.
Yeah. Well, Bill Gates
And-
owns the patents to those machines.
Oh, the Harper Ray?
He bought them like not that long ago.
Did he? Know? I didn't know.
For
that,
real, he
actually.
really. That's a true.
Yeah, that's not a good.
well,
That's
I
not
don't
a
know if
good
it's a
sign
true
for
story,
us.
but it's a story I read.
It's not a good sign for us. We're
He
about
read
to
that
go
on
the way to the
Bibliotech of
Sumerians.
Pleiades,
I
so,
read it
you know,
on.
take
I
that
did
with a
read
grain
that
of salt.
on Infowars.com. So it's just, there's no telling if that's true.
But he also gave, and Lil also gave human spells
Right.
that'll make spirits that'll well essentially make a spirits obey them.
Oh, that's
Basically,
cool.
make a ghost his bitch. Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
essentially.
think a lot of times it's a spell you put on the outside of your outside of your house so evil spirits can't come in.
Or if you like summon them, they have to like do whatever you tell them to do.
Like do your yard work and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a
They
necromancer.
didn't have yards. They were in the desert.
tend to my cactus.
Yeah.
That's where like the Zen gardens came from. Was there?
Because there was no fucking, because there was no shrubbery to be had.
No, it was just rocks
Like,
and sand.
fuck it, we'll just draw fucking pictures in the sand.
And the heat, the goddamn heat.
Well, another one of their gods was Inanna, right? Who was the god of love and war, and she was called the Queen of Heaven.
Is that where Rihanna came from?
Yes, exactly.
She's the god of love and war.
See, yeah, little known fact, Rihanna is actually a Sumerian goddess.
Yeah. She's 5,000 years old.
Yeah, looks great for her age.
Hell yeah, she does. She looks great for her age. What's your secret? Sucking the souls out of virgins.
Well, she's from the islands.
But Iana was also linked to the planet Venus and was likely like one of the most popular Sumerian gods. For
Well,
obvious reasons.
isn't like
Why
Venus
is it-
though like the sign of like the women's symbol essentially?
Yeah,
Or,
I'm like, why is
yeah.
it always Venus?
it's many cultures. Well, because you can see it. It's like a star. It's like the
Yeah.
second brightest star or something like that. I know it's one of the brightest. I think it might be the second besides like the North Star or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty prominent.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like when you have zero light pollution, you know, everywhere on the planet, you're looking at the Milky Way. You're gonna
Pretty
notice the
much.
brightest things and they'll associate shit with it.
Yeah, every time.
But then you also had Utu, who was the sun god. He was also
Right.
the god of divine justice.
Yeah. That's right.
This is the dude setting shit right.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, when like whenever somebody did something against the gods,
Mm-hmm.
he was the one to call. Pretty
Okay.
much. Then you also had, he was also the son of Nana, the moon god and the goddess of fertility, and the
Mhm.
goddess of Ningal.
Ningal. You would think Nana would have been the woman,
Yeah.
but all right.
I doubt it's pronounced Nana.
So every time my kids speak to their grandmother, they're calling her the moon god. It's cool. She'll be happy to know that.
Yeah, she's been elevated
Yeah.
pretty damn high.
Yeah,
yeah.
You're not just a grandma.
Yeah, you're the moon god.
You're the
man.
moon grandma.
That's like big boy grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet Ninhursag.
Mhm.
He,
Yeah.
he was no,
There's no
Was-
Jeffs. You know what I mean?
no,
There's
no,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
not one of these dudes have an easy name.
No.
This is,
It's
this,
not
is the god, this is
Frank.
the god of mediocrity, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not Frank. It's not Frank the
No.
moon god. You know?
Well, known as the mother goddess and was associated with nature and life.
Yeah, Frank would
On
be like
Earth.
the god of like Philly cheesesteaks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I would pray to that dude every day.
or red or hot sauce.
Again, I'd pray to him every day.
God of hot sauce.
And then lastly, kind of rounded off their core pantheon
Right.
is actually Nana.
Right.
And the god of moon and
Right.
of wisdom. Nana is actually one of the oldest gods in the Sumerian religion, and he
Okay.
was first mentioned during the earliest writings of the Sumerians, and was believed to be in fact like the earliest, like due to the fact that early Sumerians were actually hunter gatherers,
Okay.
and
All
the
right.
moon would have more importance to them than the sun, actually.
Yeah, because well, I guess at night, you know what I mean? It's like that's when the predators come out and
Yeah,
You know,
if you have a
but
full
I think a
moon,
lot
you
of
can
them
still go
probably
out and
hunted
hunt.
at night too, right? Because there's more animals and shit that were like nocturnal.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would think so, especially in that area.
It's harder
know
for
what I
them
mean,
to
where
see you
it's-
coming and all that. you
Not
know?
just that, but I mean, you got to
well,
think.
plus
about,
you would have the sun is incredibly hot. You can't do a whole
Yeah.
lot during the day.
Oh, yeah,
shit ain't really moving
I
around.
forget where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, shit ain't
So,
really
like,
moving
you have
around.
to stay
man, you know
in.
what I mean?
But then if you have a full moon, you can see everything. You can go
Yeah.
hunting.
Yeah, they're hunting and gathering on like the fucking surface of the sun.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, yo, how about we just kind of wait till dusk or something, man? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Can we wait for like a cloud?
It's just so fucking hot.
It's just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? But I mean, like, dude, I know that they did show a thing where one of their biggest ziggurats, like one of their biggest warship centers that's still standing.
Yeah.
When you look at the main stairs as it goes up, it's in perfect alignment when the moon is at its highest at the zenith during the year. And it's like in perfect alignment, man. Like these guys were like fucking.
That's pretty
geniuses
impressive.
with this shit, man. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of like with the Egyptians lining them up to the
with Sirius,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And the true cardinal directions too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the 3 stars of Sirius
Yeah.
or Orion's belt.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and then true
Yeah, it
north,
was
south,
Orion's
east,
belt.
west.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
well, I mean,
mean-
like, but the thing is, it's not that this is why I don't think that people should get that much credit because and the aliens are the ones who put the rocks there and they told them which direction to point them in. So I mean, it's not really that fucking hard.
Dude, imagine you're like, okay, when the moon's at its highest, we need to mark where that is. That's where we're gonna put this temple. They finish it out. The moon gets the highest, is slightly off to the left. Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Tear it down. Start
Yeah,
again.
we got to start over. I know we lost 20,000 slaves building this damn thing. Let's
I know
bring
that
in
these are
50,
5,000
double time it.
But
Yeah. Now we're gonna have to invade twice as many countries. Let's get this shit right next time.
yeah.
Dude,
Way to go,
alright.
Frank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way to go, Frank, the god of mediocrity.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
Damn it. All right. Foreman's approved a shit ton of overtime.
I told you
You
not to
ever think-
pray last night.
Like, you ever think they might have just stepped back and just went,
Close enough.
"Fuck."
You know,
Yeah,
you can
that
barely,
was
you
close
know,
enough, man.
you only notice it if you're looking for it, you know.
yeah.
But if you kind of tilt your head
But
a
the
little,
clients are going to be looking for it, dude.
yeah,
All you got to
like, dude,
do, I'll tell you what you do. You just make this, you just chip away at the stairs. You make them a little bit more slanted, tell them to walk on the right. Problem solved. That's what I do. I solve problems.
Yep, we're gonna come in on time and under budget,
Yeah.
regardless.
All right. Well, that's Sumerians part 2, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Like I
lot.
said, man, these guys have
these
been real
folks.
fun. Like, yeah, it's been real fun to
Yeah.
research them, talk
Yeah,
about
it
them.
These guys were amazing, man. Like,
Yeah, they really were, man. Like,
Yeah, they were.
there's a lot of cool shit about them. If you don't know anything about them, I mean, there's 1,000,000,001 documentaries and shit to watch.
And even what we've touched on
it's so minimal.
doesn't even
It's surface.
Yeah.
It's just it's surface area coverage. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
all
I mean,
it
there's
is.
hours
Yeah.
of like
This
things
entire
you can look up,
podcast would be
read.
dedicated to the fucking Sumerians if we did it.
I mean,
months.
it's literally like just glazing over it, bro.
Right.
Because these
But-
guys were so in depth.
But next week, we're back in my fucking ballpark,
We
baby.
get to the meat of things.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to the truth.
It's
We're gonna
out
get
there.
to the truth.
What the
Yeah.
aliens don't exist in that.
that
Bro,
he's
you say that
giving
one more
no
time, you're about to
appreciation.
not fucking exist.
Yeah, he's
Right.
gonna spend the entire next episode giving no appreciation
To
to the
humanity.
things that humanity has accomplished.
No, what I'm gonna do is
No, what he's
Justin-
gonna do
if
is
Justin
spend the
runs
whole
his
next
fucking mouth
episode-
one more time,
Be
I'm
mad
gonna
at me
erase him
'cause
from
I'm gonna
history.
talk nothing but trash about the Anunnaki.
I'm gonna take out his entire family line. I'm gonna hack in. I'm gonna delete his birth certificate and his social security. I'm gonna
Just wipe
erase
me
that
off the
mother-
face of the planet.
I'm
Like
gonna
I never
erase that
existed.
motherfucker.
Move into his house like it's conquered territory.
Yeah, just like take over your pool.
This is my pool now, motherfucker.
And I annexed his trampoline. All right, guys. So yeah, like a little hint next week. Yeah, we get into the realm of a little bit of the ancient alien stuff, man.
And we
Yeah, I'm
still
looking
continue
forward to
on
that.
with Sumerians because
Yeah, it's not gonna be too far off topic with these guys, man, because
No, it's really not.
a lot of this stuff. I mean, of course, it's more recent now, but I mean, a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about next week does have a basis in their history and their stories.
Yep.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
And a big one. I
Yeah.
mean, it's pretty
It's
deep.
big time.
It's deep into their lore, man.
right? And I want to say one word so bad, it's like eating me fucking alive inside. And it starts with
Are
an
you
A.
finally coming out of the closet?
Anal.
Yeah, I'm sitting on a probe currently doing this shit episode.
It's like, well, I probe myself. What you gonna do to me? Ain't gonna do
I told you
shit.
they were pussies. They can't handle me. They can't handle me.
He's like, let me show you how to do that.
My
Yeah,
doctor
yeah.
told me I have the deepest anus he's
Minimal-
ever seen.
Yeah,
in his entire
minimal,
career.
minimal.
And what the fuck are all these computer chips doing in there?
Yeah. Well, that's what keeps it running. You know? I had to incorporate technology because it's just the meat suit just wore right out. All right, guys. So the word, by the way, I wanted to use was Anunnaki.
Anunnaki.
And we're gonna get into those motherfuckers next week, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, they're fascinating.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for joining us. As always, we love you very much. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank
See y'all
you.
later.
Bye.
Later.
Ah!